and students who are starving. But all those are human what? Resource. You can tell these students to plant whatever you want to plant, and they'll do what? They will plant it. We have an agriculture teaching in the same school. But the school people are what? Are starving. Then we begin saying, we don't have this, we don't have this. But yet there is a lot that what? We have. We have land, we have the students, we have the leadership, because whatever we say, people can easily what? Do it. But we are stuck. No food in the what? In the school. So moral and innovative leadership is aimed towards enabling us use the available resources at our disposal. Thank you.
Everyone is starving. Starving. Ezra has given us a very good scenario. You find a school having 100 acres. Of course, we have the land, isn't it? But we have budgets of posho. The government is passing a budget there, money that would go for roads. But they say, we need 100 billion for posho. Yet the school has even no laptop. Even a laptop, even a solar panel, one solar panel to power the teachers. But they are spending this money, the school fees, to go and buy food. Do you know what the head teachers have been doing? They now lend. They rent this land to the communities now. What 5 acres? They give the head teacher 100,000 per year. Yet the students have nothing to earn. That's a good example that is giving us. We have enough resources. Dr. Tony has told us that we are the resource number. My sister, come. We are making reflections by the way as we prepare for Dr. Tony to come. Please clap for my sister, my beautiful sister. She's coming also. Dr. Tony, you are coming soon. 2 minutes. Okay, let me call him. Please come. My sister, with a big hug. This is the only place I can get a hug by the way.
Thank you so much. Once again, my name is Maureen Asimwe from Directorate of Industrial Training. Well, I was reflecting about the 2 days that have been here, and I find this workshop very impactful on me. I'll still say as a parent. Why? Being an educationalist, I have realized there are gaps that have been created by our education system. Sorry to mention, but I think we are here to see that it can be corrected, right? Now, when we were being taken through transformative leadership vis-a-vis transactional, today, as I was listening to Dr. David Jeremiah on ABC Radio, he usually gives talks regarding family, how you can actually groom your children so that they are better in the society. He was talking about, incidentally, but linked to this, talking about character, behavior, and obedience. So I was reflecting that mostly in our schools and our society, we are looking at behavior. We are more interested in seeing behavior, certain patterns of behavior in our children right from home. You command, they obey. You get it? You want them to behave in a certain way. But at the end of the day, we have not looked at character, building character. I have a boy who is 11. I would say I'm blessed. His brains are very okay. But looks like he's good in class academically. But when it comes to character issues, When you're not observing, he's not good by himself. So I've been wondering, where am I going wrong? Where are we going wrong? But these 2 days have helped me to know that I need to concentrate. We need to concentrate more on his character. On his character. He's called Hadrian. On Hadrian's character. Then the academic ability will really align. And I thank you, Global Peace Foundation, and those who invited us for this. I believe that we should be better parents. Thank you.
Thank you very, very much, my sister. Bana tokugala tuli bumala bana. Mulinga mumubanja. Mama teria kubanja. Tukwebaza. Thank you so much, our sister. Dr. Tony is coming and they would like, it's already on. Please take on. Please clap for Mr. Tony Divine. We thank you yesterday. It was rapid fire on the enemy. And we thank you today. It's another day. We would like to end at 11. Conrad is going to join us at 11. So please just unpack us again. Equip us again. Thank you, Doctor. Okay.
So good morning, everyone. Good to see you all again. I'm going to miss you guys, right? This is our third day together, right? And I was just thinking this morning, oh no, it's the last day. I wish we could stay for another 2 days. Hey, Milton, maybe we should extend the workshop. I can change my flight. Would you like to stay for 2 more days? Wow, one person at least. Okay. So I want to ask you a very important question. You know what I'm going to ask you now, right? So I asked the same question yesterday and the same question the day before. How are you guys doing? Fair, good, or great?
Great.
My God, that's a major upgrade from day one. Remember day one? Only Milton said he was great. But now you're all saying it, right? And actually, this may seem like superficial, but it's not actually. It's an indicator. It's a little indicator of the first steps of transformation within all of us, right? You know what I mean? So first day, we're wondering, maybe you were tired, you were traveling, but now we're kind of absorbing the content and so on and so forth. So this is the 5th presentation of the Transforming Education in Global South towards 2050. Remember what we're all here for. We're here because we're needed. We are needed to actually drive this campaign here in Uganda, right? To get more schools, more regions, more people involved. And that's what I am asking all of us to do, that we go into massive action, right, even today, right, to move this campaign forward. The worst outcome of this workshop is you go back and do nothing. Or you just feel, okay, I was inspired. You know what I mean? That is not the point, folks. The point is we take massive action, okay? So by the Global Peace Leadership Conference in June, we need to see early results, okay? And then by phase 3, we need to see the next level of results, okay? Why? Because we're in an urgent situation. If any country in the entire planet, all 195 countries, right? Uganda should feel the urgency of this compared to any other nation. Why? Why should Uganda feel the urgency of this campaign more than any other country in the world? What's that?
The biggest percentage of youth per capita in the whole wide world. And that's why I'm here.
And are they
And for what now, let us tell the truth, is a big liability. We can see how many people this snatch lady that they snatch the bags, all that. So that is a very good indicator. A biggest youth population per capita in the world. We need this.
You know, Dr. Matati is a businessman. He's not an educator, but I think he's the best student in the room. I mean, you know, he doesn't go on and on and on and on and still not get the answer like crisp, clear, and to the point. I mean, you remember the other day, the antidote to corruption?
Yes.
People were saying systems and all kinds of stuff, right? But he got it. I mean, he crystallized. It's in his being, right? He knows the implications of this because his own personal fortune. He's not going to risk it, right? In an environment of corruption. Do you know what I mean? If you had his resources and you're putting your money on the line, you too would be very careful where you invest it. I'm telling you, right? So that is absolutely correct. You have the number one asset in the world. Any other country in Europe, Korea, Japan has their debt rate is higher than their birth rate. They would give their arm and legs for this, okay? You don't know the blessing you should write this down. This country is truly blessed, okay? But that requires an investment. Every resource, even minerals, right? They don't stay in the ground until you dig them out, right? That takes resources, technology, financial resources, and so on. Same story with your number one asset, these young people. That's a resource. It's not just, it can't just sit on the sidelines and hope that something will happen. No, it requires a massive investment to transform them, right? From a liability, a potential liability, into an amazing asset. They're not an asset by default.
Yeah.
They need to be transformed into an asset. You got to write this down. I must transform this asset, right, from a liability to an asset, okay? So just saying they're an asset is not an asset. It requires an intervention, right? That's why we're here in the workshop. We need massive action, a huge plan, right, to move this forward. Um, I want you to form little working groups, right? Not just within your own institution, but also with other stakeholders that you are connected to. You've built a network over a lifetime, right? Get them mobilized, get working. Let's actually make this happen and let's connect with each other. Don't be waiting for Global Peace Foundation to coordinate this. You have enough information from this workshop to really roll. Don't you think so? Do you need to wait till June and then wait till September to learn something new? No, you've got more than enough, okay, to roll. Remember that moral and innovative leaders create something out of nothing. Because who is the number one resource in the room? Me. And who's the second? What's your second resource?
Family.
Your family and extended family. That is like, what else do you need? Okay. And then your network, your peers, right, is the third resource. So the resource is human beings, folks. It's not systems. It's not AI. That is icing on the cake. Okay. It's not even money, actually. It's not even money, right? It is us. Entrepreneurs create something out of nothing. So that is my concluding statement of the workshop. Felt I should give it in the beginning, so we're very, very clear on why we have been here for these 3 days. But now let's go into making all of the things we talked about for the past 2 days very real in terms of our educational institutions. So now we're going to go into a strategy point of this campaign, creating great schools and regions. It's actually creating great educational institutions at the basic, TVET, and tertiary level, whatever area you're responsible for, right? So you guys represent the Eastern District, is that right? So your goal, going back, great team here. They're up in the front. Um, the students in the front, they're very serious people, right? All of you are serious, okay? So your job is to create an amazing region in the Eastern region, the best region in the world, right? And Justine, your goal is to create an amazing transformative institution at your university. You do holistic development, but with the input of this workshop, this should be actualized on steroids, right? Get together with your team. And I could talk to each and every one of you, right? It's the same message to all of you, okay? So, what we're trying to do is create a compelling future and a civilization of peace. It starts with us transforming ourselves, right? Then it's then when you do that, you create good families. Good families are created by good individuals, right? Individuals of character. Then great schools is next. Great schools, great educational institutions. Why? Because students spend 80 to 90% of their time in families or schools. So the impact, remember we said that being an educator is a mission?
Yes.
Right. That's what this is. And then that is the causal factor. Those three here, the first three circles, is the causal factor to create a peaceful, prosperous world. You cannot have prosperity without peace, right? You cannot have prosperity without peace. And we've seen some real sad stories in Africa, right? Genocide, dictators, and so on over in the 20th century, even still in the 21st century, right? So we can change the game here. So let's zero in on creating great educational institutions. And by the way, what I'm going to be sharing with you applies to creating great regions as well. Okay. So it starts by we mentioned this yesterday. It starts by waking up in the morning and thinking, how can I add more value today? Right? Businessmen work like this, right? They're on automatic pilot with this one, right, Dr. Matati? When you wake up in the morning as an investor, you're thinking, how can I add more value today to my investments, to my business, right? How can I act? And then that means that means I have to contribute something more, right? And then it means you're modeling the way along, okay? So this is the critical slide here, guys, right? So a great region or a great educational institution has a transformative culture. If you forget everything else from this morning, this is the anchor slide right here, okay? This one, you've got to get this one down. So a great educational institution or a great region has a transformative culture. And we spend 2 days that to create a transformative culture, we need educators who are work transforming themselves, right? In character and holistic development, anchored in core values, character, principles, and development, right? When that culture is embedded, now you have a fighting chance to innovate. So that culture, that engaging culture, right, that caring culture should be driving innovation. Do you think our educational institutions are innovative? Why not? That is the question. Why not? Why not? Okay. So innovation, continuous innovation, all it is adding more value than anybody else. Adding more value than anybody else, right? You should be like, as an educational leader, you should be reinventing your institution all the time. It should not remain static. It should not remain stuck in the 300-year-old conventional education system. Let me ask you this. I'll put it this way. Do you think in Uganda that our educational institutions are a deep reflection of the 300-year-old conventional industrialized educational system, the upside down pyramid that doesn't move, that doesn't innovate, it just remains stagnant year in, year out, decade in, decade out, century in, century out? Or are the institutions that are continually innovating daily, weekly, monthly? Which one is it, honestly speaking? Honestly speaking, no, your staff. Let the I know you know the answer, right? Non-staff have to answer that question. You don't know? Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, microphone. Can we get a microphone over there?
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. I think it is the other upside down pyramid
Yeah.
where it focuses more on the knowledge acquisition. So it is a true reflection of the other industrial of the 300 years where it is focusing on that. There is no, it is stagnant, I would say. There is no
Stagnant.
much innovation.
Yeah.
But of recent, there is innovation with a new curriculum, though it is a little and it's just starting. So there are some elements of innovation, but still not comprehensively.
The key question here, right? You mentioned the new curriculum is a little bit innovative. That's not the key question is, am I being innovative? Am I being innovative in my educational institution? Am I driving innovation with my teams? Write that down. That's where the rubber meets the road. Am I being innovative, right? And if not, why not? And if not, then that can change in a microsecond once you make the decision. This is you, or this is like each one of us overcoming your limiting beliefs that this can't change. It can change. People change things, right? Human beings are incredible, right? We can change things. And then the third component is quality outreach. Quality outreach. Our educational institutions should not be silos in the community. And the primary person you're outreaching to are families, parents, grandparents, uncles, and aunts. The profile of an educational institution going forward is there should be a red carpet with gold, but like in the Academy Awards, they have the red carpet rolled out for the actors coming in and they're all dressed up with new dresses and suits and so much makeup on. They have more makeup on than probably the makeup costs like $5,000 alone, right? Well, that's what your schools and educational institutions and your regions, you should have a red carpet with gold ropes and a big sign, families are welcomed here anytime. A big sign, a sign that's like, the size of this wall. Not this size. The size of this wall, that should be families are welcomed here anytime. Write that down. Because that's your number one partner. They should be welcomed. Do you think our educational institutions are welcoming of families and parents? Honestly speaking. The question is, why not? How many parents have been in your educational institution yesterday or in the past week? How many grandparents? Anyone? Folks, that needs to change like now. Okay. And then once you lock in the families, and by the way, probably the reason you're not welcoming parents is because of limiting beliefs and fear. Oh, the parents are going to interfere with the curriculum, or they're going to complain. This is all lies. Okay. That's why as educators, that's why we need to be strengthening our conscience. The conscience is the standard bearer of truth. The stronger our conscience is, the more power we have to overcome these lies we tell ourselves, right? These limiting beliefs, right? If you're not strengthening your conscience, these limiting beliefs overpower you over and over and over again. So we're making this linkage. You should write this down. the power to overcome limiting beliefs is I must strengthen my conscience every day, my relationship with my conscience, because that's the truth. But we're believing lies and we're frozen in fear like Daisy the cow, right? And all there is just a thin wire of an electric fence that can be broken through in a microsecond, okay? Anyone like to comment on this? I tell you what, get into teams. This is the key slide of the workshop of today, right? So before I go further to illustrate this, which I will, I want you to get in your teams and have an honest reflection on what you think you need to be doing in your educational institution to reflect what a great educational institution is like based on this content. By the way, Dr. Matati, come up here. Just for reference, right? You see this content, Dr. Matati? Is that actually what it takes to create a great business?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Uh, how long you giving me? Okay. So this is the most important ingredient for the business and development of any country in the world. I'm going to give you an example. In 1960, when DRC got independence, the GDP of DRC was equivalent of the one of South Korea and Canada. You check it. Canada, South Korea, and DRC, same GDP. Today, you can compare the three countries and you see clearly. Of course, people will say Canada is a Commonwealth, excuses, but look, a book named No Excuses. And everybody got to read that book for leadership. That's a very good book. But compare South Korea to DRC. 1960, nobody was talking about cobalt. Nobody knew about coltan. But the GDP of DRC, Canada, and South Korea was the same. Poor leadership and mismanagement of schools make the difference. Today, there is no roads, and people are suffering of hunger in a country where when you eat avocado and you throw the core, 3 weeks later, there is a plant. Yes. So no excuses. Yes. Please, I'm not here to show that I'm better. I'm the most humble person here. We Africans need to stand up and shovel our all effort to do better. Nobody will help. As a matter of fact, if you know Jesus Christ is the creator, right? The Son of God. Ask him, he told us, it is in the Bible, to those who have, it will be given. To those who don't have, it will be taken away, even the little that they think having. So, if the creator of this world is telling you that, why you want somebody to help? Miss Ezra told us here about a school with the land. And I told you about me forcing white people to do something for my country. And some goon, that's how you call it, right? Somebody wanted 45% of $1.8 billion that could put roads in the whole country. Until today, there is no road. Nobody do that. And you want people who got money, who suffer all their lives, or the life of their father and grandfather, who are white, that you don't like most of the time, put their money to help you when you got all kind of riches laying down here. Is not going to happen. We need to wake up and work. To those who have, it will be given. To those who don't have, it will be taken away. The little that they think having.
Thank you very much, Dr. Matani. When you looked at the Tesla example yesterday, do you think they had actually a transformative culture?
Yes.
Do you think they were continually innovating? They innovate every single day of the week. If they don't come up with something new in 24 hours, Elon Musk is really on their butts, right? It's daily innovation, not monthly or annual or quarterly. It's daily innovation, okay? And quality outreach. Get in your teams, come up with action plans on how to realize this to create model regions here in Uganda and model educational institutions. What do you think you can do differently from today on? Go ahead, guys, take a couple of minutes, 5 minutes maybe. Richard, help these guys get into discussions. And Boza, Joshua.
What are we?
So we're going in for the discussion. Shall we go back to our teams, please? Shall we get to our teams? That's the best way of having.
I think we do this by the institution teams, because you're going back as a team. Yes. One. Let's form another group. Those who are alone, we can form another group somewhere at the back here. Yes, if you're alone, unless you get someone you can share with, because we are now customizing. We want homegrown application. This is definitely Namliango team, so they already university there. Madam, good morning. Which institution? Staff. Okay. Sorry. That makes you a partner. Anyone else alone? Let me come there. This because in the past no one has helped.
confidence doesn't. Not the representation of the bell. There's a own shield on the yeah. No, you are right. Oh, yeah, that's still it's very good at the very funny. Oh, Johnny, you need to just remember you did the best. This is really good stuff. They want to, they want to, but yeah, oh, the action, those things, one of the stuff, but that was, we go to some, then we move to Malto, and our body close to me, we are back to yeah, back to look at the immediate area, they make area. So now we're people these boundaries, those people, they clear we are what now. I don't know. Very important. Very important. I will see on the watch. We are now in the house. We have how? Now we have to house. Yes, properly. The what is the why? I want to say why. Why comes to within proceed? So you have plus one immediate point. Told you. I immediate study for you to you need the ground where you are taking it of your own family. If it works, you detected the measure the outcome. Once they have accepted them before you go to yeah. Which one? Yeah, they are the ones outside, outside. Yes, outside layer. Are we going to organize the water show? No, do that. How? How? How are we now need to be by ABC and the person is crazy? If you help, you make a reason to help the facilitate it and organize your facility. Oh, yeah, this is the process. pero tenían ya the other people, very few one, just in the pero because some things have it's if you admit that even you are fellow politics, if you are thinking of chemistry, you bring your own the teacher of your fellow teacher of chemistry. Because if the mandate thing is you know first, then we keep it our way of our mandate kind of store. Then we can use it now. Make a report. But then we report for at least someone to be fire. Like the friend photo and the car, that's the guy,
Okay, guys.
very important. In the middle. If on the summer, the one of yeah, never, yeah, you know, but those are the things we can do. About that, things we did. Kind of stay hey. When I get it. Yeah, okay. Appreciate and appreciate it. So for me, I've been able to educate you. Good enough. The first step you have come, it is a big step. Well, now we can. Well, but just like for me, I will have to go and people. I'm going to do my report and make sure that you get it. You get it. And you also have the manual. And have a manual for and they will have a certificate. Get it. So the certificate should actually prepare another action. Thing.
what it is in your plan. Number one, appreciation meeting with the director and team. It's the immediate demand. And the request appreciation meeting. How much appreciate you? That develop curriculum that integrate what you're doing, and this will be new broadening of holistic aspect. And then for you can use any your outreach programs to keep on now talking and to keep plotting in. You will see how best you can inspire them, not the gaps. You will research on how they are doing it, how they are world of what the gaps may have. From there you can switch. We're not have the full day. So put it on offline. Okay, that'll be exciting. Yeah. Okay, so we are extending by 10 more minutes because looks like you need to come out more concretely on the activities. I don't know which one's different. You know, you want to organize yourself then. Because of the first one too, you know, to tell. This time it's traveling now. When we achieve that, starting with your video, planning meeting, then probably all time. What is the difference? And so it's someone will be righteous. You think that they are like what we have, and the new concepts.
Okay, guys, I want to welcome you back. Thank you very much. The conversation you just started, please continue this conversation when you go back, okay? And finish this. This is just to get you started, right? You know, like when you're when you go out for the when you go out for the 1 hour walk, the real payoff comes from at the 40-minute mark, between the 40-minute mark and the 60-minute mark, right? That's where the payoff comes in. If you quit at the 40, if you're doing the 60-minute one, right? If you quit at 39 minutes, you have no payoff. Okay. All right, guys, let's reconvene here. And I want to actually give you some more inputs here that will help you with the development of your plans, right? So there are three pillars of great educational institutions, three pillars. The first pillar is a culture of character and holistic development. So we're talking about the culture. The next one is leadership and culture, leadership and culture. And the third one is community and 21st century workforce. All of that is driven by a transformative culture, continuous innovation, and quality outreach, where we're getting a little bit more granular, right? from this point on. So I'm going to go over each one of these pillars. So pillar A is character and holistic development. This is the foundational pillar, right? And here we're talking about, this is what we've been talking about for 2 full days, cultivating good character in the educators and the students, nurturing great relationships. How do you collaborate? How, are you good at teamwork? That kind of stuff. Third, physiology and nurturing physiology, energy and vitality, right? And fourthly, the application of knowledge and skills to solve complex problems. That's pillar A. Pillar B is leadership and culture. Again, we're bringing it all home, right? Moral and innovative leadership, a transformative culture, quality outreach and partnerships, and continuous innovation, adding more value. And the third pillar is community and 21st century workforce. That also has 4 categories: peace and citizenship, environmental stewardship, looking after our planet, looking after our schools, digital technologies, AI, and core values. We're actually marrying core values with digital technologies and AI. It's not just digital technologies, and there's another important layer to this, right? You will not hear this anywhere else. And creativity and entrepreneurship powered by moral and innovative leadership. That they go together. It's not just entrepreneurship, it is powered by moral and innovative leadership. We want entrepreneurs who are moral and innovative. These are the 3 pillars, right? And the 12 categories. So I'm going to go into each one of them very quick. We're going to take a tea break in about 17 minutes. So put on your seat belts. I'm going to do in 2 hours in 17 minutes. Okay, there's no break here. Oh yeah, where's Joshua? We need a very quick energizer here. Or Milton can do it, or anyone can do it, right? Just a short one, 1 minute, right? And then we're going to go for it, okay? Just free.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. Let's just stand up. Let's just stand up. Let's just stand up. Up. Are we rising like leaders, educators? Okay, what you're going to do, just exchange your seat with your neighbor. Exchange your seat with your neighbor. Exchange your seat with your neighbor. Ambassador? Let's exchange. Let's exchange. Again with your next neighbor. No, you go with your things. You won't change. You won't stay there. You go with your property. You just go with your property. Because some of you have sat where you sat yesterday. Are sitting where you sat yesterday. And even where you sat on Monday. So you find it hard to get to another place. That's how we feel when we are in class. Go with your property. Don't get used to a place we've been. Professor, you with your property. Yes. All right. Then you can switch a bit. Switch a bit. Switch a bit. Then you have your seats. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. That's cool. Cool idea here. Shake things up a little bit. Okay. Now, put on your seatbelts. We're going to take off. We're going to move at 100 miles an hour. I'm going to do in 15 minutes. That takes 2 hours. Are you ready? Is your mind sharp? I'm going to go at lightning speed here, guys, right? I am not stopping. You have to be like switch. You've got to mobilize all that energy and vitality. It cannot slip at all in the next 15 minutes. Pillar A, I'm going to give this lots of examples, character, right? So uh, we talked a lot about this already for 2 days, so I'm not going to dwell on it. So cultivating character is number one. It's across the entire educational institution, across the entire region, right? Most of your energy should be put on character, nurturing character. And we talked about how character is linked to conscience and how it's linked to principles and values. Let me give you an example. There is a university in Mexico called Tech Milenio University. It was founded in 2002. By 2012, they were losing enrollment. The university was about to close. They had an option where they're going to close the university or we're going to reinvent the university. So the leadership team went on a retreat and they said, we're not closing the university. We're going to completely reinvent the university, right? And what they did was um, they focused the university on purpose, right, and character development. And that university has 31 campuses. When they actually reinvented the university, and that's what I'm calling on all of you to do here. You can Google this university, right? And their enrollment reversed. Their enrollment started increasing. They became financially prosperous. Every parent wanted to send their kid in Mexico to this university after 2012. Before 2012, nobody wanted to go there, right? And this is the president of the university, Hector Santana. He said that when he visits the 31 campuses across Mexico, and when he actually goes in to greet the students, this is how all the students greet him. They say, for example, my name is Maria. My character strengths are honesty and courage. And my purpose in life is to be a transformative person that can impact the future. Every student answers him like this. Wouldn't that be awesome in your educational student? If I came back in June, right, and I will be here in June, if I do a spot visit and you say, Tony, why don't you go up and meet some of my students? And if I hear your students, hey Tony, my name is John. My character strengths are resilience and integrity, right? And my purpose is to create a compelling future for Uganda. Wouldn't that be awesome if every student in university greeted um, each other this way and greeted guests who come into your university like this? Do you think you can make that happen? There is a real university doing this. What we're talking about here is not theoretical. It's real world. If you go to the homepage, and this is an action item, I want you to go to the homepage of this university, right? Tech Millennial. And this is a copy of the homepage, your purpose. How many universities, Justine, wouldn't that be amazing at your university if the homepage said your purpose rather than these are all the academic programs we do? That's the typical profile of every university and school in the world. It's all system centric. This one is different. And that's why this university is thriving, actually, right? This is another part of cultivating character. There's a school in Nairobi. It's part of the character and creativity network of schools. It's called Lady of Fatima Secondary School. This is Julia Naiposio, who was the CCI coordinator there. And she started this initiative called the Talk to Me initiative, right? Students were struggling in her class. She was wondering, why are some of my students, well, some of my best students, why has their countenance gone down? So she came up with this inspiration. She announced one day at the end of her class, hey, class, I'm going to stay behind for an extra half hour today. Anyone who wants to come and speak to me can speak to me. She was targeting one student in particular. Whole line of students came up. Those students had nobody to talk to. Students were having real problems in their families, right? They could not speak to anybody about. And when I met Julia later, He said, Tony, I'm not, I'm not a trained counselor. So I said, what did you do? All I did was listen. They just needed somebody to listen to them. It's as simple as that. And this initiative went all across Kenya. And what was really crazy, right, was that I went to Mongolia like about a year and a half later, and some teacher came up. We're doing the Talk to Me initiative in Mongolia. Where did you learn about that? We learned about that from Kenya, right? So it's like crazy, right? Um, relationships, right? So relationships are very important. Here's a real world example. So this is we're still in the character and holistic development. This is the second category of relationships. This is Hal Urban, somebody I know very, very well, a friend of mine. He is an award-winning teacher at the Woodside High School in California. It's actually in Silicon Valley, right? And what he did for 3 decades was that every single day he came in 15 minutes early to all his classes, day in and day out. He stood outside the door. There was nobody in the classroom when he came in. He stood outside the door and he personally welcomed every single student into his classroom. And what he was doing by that was that he was communicating, I actually acknowledge and care about you as a whole person, not just your mental cognitive area in all 4 dimensions. At the end of the academic year, Hal always asked year in, year out, he asked his students to write a reflection on what was the highlight of the past year. And he was like, academically, he gave them tough assignments, actually, right? And they did them. And the reflections over 3 decades all started with the same saying. Do you know what it was? It says, the thing I liked the most was how you started your class. You welcomed us into the class. And then the second sentence was the same for 3 decades, right? I wish all my other teachers would do this. And in his school, no other teacher did it, only him, right? That was their lament, you could say, right? This is a best practice. This does not take any resources to do. This is moral and innovative leadership within your team to do something like this. Family trees. This is from Bura Bura Girls Secondary School in Kenya. Do you know about this concept? It's an amazing concept. We're talking about the family here, right? So these girls, it's cross grade, right? So it's here in Africa, it's form one, two, three, and four, right? So a form one girl would be the new girl coming into the high school is the daughter. She's paired up with a form two girl who's the mother, and she's paired up, right, with a form three girl who's the grandmother, and she's paired up with a form four girl who's the great grandmother. They're a team, a family. They call it a family tree, right? So the entire school is organized like this in teams of four, like this, cross grade, familial. If there's any problem in the school, these kids go to their family tree first. In fact, the vice president had no work to do after about a year. Nobody was coming to him or her, right? Because they created a great culture. This is a culture of relationships, of intimacy. And it didn't cost anything, guys, right? Um, let's talk about energy and vitality, right? Which is the third category of character and holistic development. So I'll give you an example of this teacher, Stephen Ritz, right, from New York City. He created a school garden that grows 40,000 pounds of vegetables. This is not processed food. This is your natural diet, right? And he revitalized not just the school, but the neighborhood, right? Giving jobs, healthy food, and positive after school activities. The students got involved with the planting. They learned basic agriculture, right? And it included environmental realization, indoor farming, vertical farming, and he married it with technology, indoor technology. Again, he did this with no resources, right? It became a big thing. And here we're in Uganda, right? the, as far as natural resources, farming, rich soil, do you think that's possible? And you've got big land in the schools, right? This is something you can do. I know that happens a lot. Application of knowledge and skills. Okay. So, um, I will actually expand on this in a few minutes with another example, right? Which is basically problem solving. I want to go on to the next pillar real quick, pillar B, which is the pillar of leadership and culture. And this has also four categories: moral and innovative leadership, a transformative culture, quality outreach and partnerships, and continuous innovation. We've been talking about this a lot for 2 days, right? So moral and innovative leadership, we actually summarize this. I won't go over it in depth because we covered it a lot already. It's the character, the holistic development, and so on. Um, so also in terms of the school culture, so we talked about a transformative culture. This is where we can learn from the family and extended family. So we're connecting dots here. So in the family, a good family, a great family has great has great relationships between parents and children. Would you agree? So how does this look like in the school? All you're doing is emulating a great relationship, a parental relationship, actually, between teachers and students. Also, expanding this a little bit more between parents and children. And what is the correlation here to the administration team? The administration team cares about their teachers. They love their teachers. They welcome their teachers, right? They don't look at them as people with jobs. They look at them as everyone is on a mission to transform the culture. Also, between parents, right? You know very well, right, in a family, if the parents have a good relationship, do you think the children thrive? Or if the parents are always fighting each other, ignoring each other, do you think the children can thrive? It's the same story here in your schools when the teachers are collaborating, helping each other out. The students are watching this. They will thrive, right? Also, between siblings in the family, this is the relationship between students. Students can have a sibling like relationship, loving each other. All students should be in teams. Should write this down. Students should never be not in a team. We talked about the family tree just a few minutes ago. Every student should be in a team from day one. If that's not the case, make it happen. All you're doing is emulating the sibling relationship within families, but now we're emulating it on a school level where teams of students help each other out, right? They can actually help each other learn and so on. And they should not be sitting in rows like this. You should repurpose your classrooms so they're sitting in teams, right? If I could reorganize this room, it would not be like this. It would be round tables. But if we did it in this room, you'd all be sliding into the floor, into the wall here, right? Okay. And then a transformative, so we're on the relationships here. So this is like, you know, real engaging relationships between the principal, the administration, teachers, sports coaches, staff, and custodians. We need the sports coaches on board, by the way, right? You should uplift your sports coaches. They do real experiential learning. Sports coaches can do so much to cultivate character, self-discipline, caring, teamwork without any PowerPoint, right? And it needs to be, of course, intentional, okay? This is also a case study of Ron Clark, who is a transformative teacher. You can Google this guy, right? And he built his own school from a dilapidated warehouse. He didn't have a building like this. It was a dilapidated warehouse. That's where he started, right? Remember, transformative, moral and innovative leaders build things out of nothing. That's what Ron Clark did. And he said, since that day in that dilapidated warehouse, we have built a great school. We have become a family. We have challenged, motivated, disciplined, and inspired these students, and we have grown to love them for their amazing gifts and unique abilities. Every person is special, unique. There is no two people, no two students are alike. They have special, unique value endowed by the Creator, right? That is like eternal value, in fact, right? And we truly believe that we have future world leaders at our school. All the teachers in Ron Clark, they, in their core, in their core, they emulate this. They believe that every single student is the future leader, right? Not in a year from now, but now, today, right? Like that. And we are honored to teach them each and every day. Can you actually think of that for a second? Are you honored to engage your students? If we're honored, right, you're honoring their gifts, their special gifts, who they are, and so on, okay? Continuous innovation for a peaceful and prosperous world. Number 7, right? Category number 7, right, which is the third category of pillar B, which is leadership and culture. I just want to highlight um, a few things here, right? So I want to highlight Astra Nova School in California. So Elon Musk, the founder of Tesla, was very dissatisfied by the public education system, and he felt that his kids were not thriving. So he did the Elon Musk thing. He created his own school, okay? And in this school, guess what? Grades and traditional classes don't exist. There are no grades, right? Students work on across grade level, right? Form 1, 2, 3, and 4. They're all working together, right? On complex projects like building battling robots, right? And discussing nuclear politics. There is no boundary here. I mean, this is real world stuff, real world projects. No grades, folks, right? And at Astra School, which now is actually an online learning platform built on principles, decision making, and collaboration. It emphasizes holistic development, what we've been talking about in this workshop, and with a strong desire to grow and learn as foundational. Khan Academy. I just actually went for a walk the other day on Sunday, and I went past the Uganda building of Khan Academy, right? Khan Academy, a foundation. It's up here on the hill someplace, right? So here, teachers are not traditional teachers; they're coaches. Remember yesterday, in a teacher as an innovative leader, we said the teacher is a master facilitator and a coach. They're not a transmitter of knowledge, okay? And they have less learning and more interaction, more engagement, more interaction, more guiding than downloading content. That is so old school that you can't believe it, especially when the students know more than we do as far as content these days. You know, when COVID happened, none of the teachers knew how to get onto Zoom, but the students did. The teachers were going to the students, how do I get on Zoom again? Um, and this, they would ask the 7-year-old teacher, the student would ask the 7-year-old student, how do I get on Zoom? And the student would say, you're on. No, I want to know, how do I actually get on, get on Zoom, which buttons to click? You're on Zoom. No, I actually want to know, like, you're actually on. And it's as simple as that. These kids know technology, right? So we can be engaging them. They know stuff you guys don't know, right? So we have to change the game here. It's not about who knows all the knowledge anymore. That is 19th century stuff, right? We have to actually, what we have to be focusing on, what you need to be focusing on is not transmitting knowledge, but cultivating character, relationships, like that, okay? And then quality outreach. So here we have, Global Peace Foundation is working with the Interreligious Council of Uganda for the upcoming family festival in June, and we're working with the Interreligious Council of Kenya for the upcoming Global Peace Leadership Conference. So why are we working with IRC? Because faith leaders need to be at the table here. They're an important stakeholder who often get overlooked. Do we have any IRCU in the room right now? They were here, one was here yesterday, right? They're coming? Okay, all right. Um, that that and families, right, is really the key thing. Okay, schools mentoring schools. So here's a big recommendation for you. We actually implemented this in Kenya last week, right? We set up a school mentoring school effort as a result of the workshop, right? For example, the principal of the Nairobi Waldorf School Trust, who sponsored the workshop, he's on the board of 2 public schools. And now, as a result of the workshop, he's going to have his teachers and students visit these schools and help them, right? This Waldorf School Trust is a private school. They have more resources. They've been through the workshop. All of you here have been through the workshop. You know, adopt a public school near you that has potential and invest into them. That's how we can expand the campaign, right? So you become the teachers. You do this workshop with them. You do it with your own institution first, but you don't stop there, okay? Shanghai School District went to become the #1 school district in the world for several years running because they implemented a school-to-school mentoring program. That was their secret sauce. But that was mentoring on academics. Here we're talking about mentoring on character and holistic growth, right? Like that. And let me just go through this last one, which is Pillar C, community and 21st century workforce. Okay. So in community, we have peace and citizenship competencies, right? So creating helping our students to become people who actually realize peace. Don't you think that many educational institutions have conflict issues going on? There's bullying, there's violence, kids burning classrooms. Does some of that happen in Uganda? Harassment online and offline. You know, if you create this culture of character and holistic development, and we build the awareness that we have to be helpful, supportive, building trust with people who are different from us, do you think you will have school burnings? Do you think there'll be violence? There won't be, right? And citizenship competencies. In other words, our graduates should be virtuous citizens, because virtuous citizens elect virtuous leaders, actually, right? So for a democracy to really function, it needs to be comprised of virtuous citizens. That's up to all of you in the room. Can you graduates who are peaceful, who drive peace and promote peace, and who are virtuous and creating great peaceful communities as a peaceful society? And that is the foundation for investment, actually, right? Now you can have not just Dr. Matati, but you can have 1,000 Dr. Matatis coming in from Europe, the US, South Korea, because now they have a low-risk environment, right? They're seeing a new generation coming out who are promoting peace, that are not going to be corrupt, who are not going to take bribes, right? That is a huge social good. The stuff we're doing here is driving a social good, actually, right? Environmental stewardship. So I really admire the culture here in Africa, in Uganda, Kenya, the 2 places I've been to the most, right? In this attitude towards the environment, to plant trees and so on. That's really good. But environmental stewardship here is not just planting trees. It's looking after your classrooms, your schools. If a window is broken, a transformative leader, will he leave that broken until the semester finishes and then fix it? What would a transformative principal do? When would he or she fix that broken window? Immediately. I really was glad to get to know Stephen Jirogi, the principal of My Forces Academy in Nairobi. And I've been to his school many times. He said, Tony, do you see any broken windows? No, I don't. He said, you know, if students are playing sports and a ball goes through a window, and it happened a few times, he said that window is repaired within hours. And he said, I don't even have to say anything. The culture of the custodians are on automatic pilot, because he said, if that window remains broken, it disrupts the environment for growth and development. Students too in Japan and China, and I've been to those classrooms, they clean the classroom at the end of the day. That's their big service project. It's not the custodians. And they clean the toilets. The students clean the toilets, right? So the toilets, you could eat your breakfast in the toilet with no problem at all, and you will not get sick. It's that clean, right? What do you guys think? Do you think that would be a cool thing to do in your schools and educational institutions? That's continuous. That's actually a dimension of continuous innovation and real environmental stewardship. Okay, so at the end of the workshop in Nairobi on Saturday, we actually had a tree planting project, right? Right after the workshop ended, with a twist. All the participants, like all of you, we got a sapling, and we went out and we added a very important component from the workshop. We actually planted something called trees of character, right? And when we planted the trees, all of us, these are all the adults, we gave a name to that tree of a virtue. So some people named their tree generosity. Some people named their tree resilience, right? And so on and so forth, okay? So we actually pioneered this project in Kenya, Trees of Character. And we had, like, one example was that one student named her tree generosity. And when she was going out watering the tree, like every couple of days, and she saw the tree growing, and then she started to reflect. She said, your name is generosity. And as I reflect on myself, I see you growing, but this quality of generosity has gone stagnant. It's not growing. And it was a wake-up call. The next day, she brought in an extra lunch, and she, from her own pocket money, and gave it to a fellow student who did not have lunch, right? So she actually cultivated, without nobody telling her, her this virtue of generosity. I named my tree determination, right? On Saturday. And I'll go back to visit that school again and check on that tree. And I will be checking, how is my determination to advance this campaign of transforming education in the global south? Is it growing? Is it expanding? Do you get the idea, folks? And then creativity and entrepreneurship, right? We need entrepreneurs in millions here in Uganda and Africa. Don't you think so? We need job creators. How are they going to be cultivated? In our educational institutions, at your universities. You should be prime time advancing entrepreneurship. We need job creators. Here's an example of a project we've been doing in Kenya for a long time called Leap Hubs. We want to actually grow this project like lightning here, right? This is actually an incubator at an educational institution. All it is a reconverted classroom, right? For example, the first Leap Hub in Africa was in My Forces Academy. I had a meeting, Daniel Juma, the affiliate director there, and I had a meeting with Mr. Jirogi, and we kind of suggested, right, building an incubator called a Leap Hub. And then 45 minutes later, he called in the German and the German language teacher, right, and also French language teacher. They each had a classroom, right? And he said, we have to actually repurpose one of your classrooms into a leap hub. So I want you to share the classroom for French and German, right? We'll have it at different times. We don't need a dedicated classroom for these two languages. This was done within 1 hour. 1 hour. That became the first leap hub. Investors came in. We had Airtel coming in, providing free over the air data packets. Hewlett Packard, others, Intel donated laptops. The students were able to get online, research potential. They researched a problem to solve, came up with prototypes. They won actually national, regional, and international competitions. Two of them got full scholarships to the US, including Stanford University. These were Leap Hub students. These are the public schools, not private schools, okay? So we want to actually expand Leap Hubs here in Uganda, okay? And then finally, digital technologies, AI, and core values. So this is a 21st century workforce competency that both educators and students need to be competent in, right? With technology, we can drive innovation big time, okay? This should be welcomed, including AI. However, there is a very, very important value add that we're going to bring now, which is core values. So from now on, digital technologies, exponential technologies, and AI should never be actually nurtured without attaching core values and character. Because exponential technologies driven by people of character and good values will usher in an age of abundance here in Africa. Digital technologies, exponential technologies, and AI absent of core values and character will usher in an age of destruction, right? When it's in the wrong people's hands. Do you get this one? So we're going to associate entrepreneurship with moral and innovative leadership, and we are going to associate digital technologies with um, with uh, with that. And finally, great places to school. We've been talking about creating a great school. This is actually a project in Kenya running 4 years. We would love to see Uganda adopt great places to school. And all great places to school it's just actually a rating. It actually identifies, rates, and recognizes schools with transformative cultures and continuous innovation. And we work with a media partner in Kenya, Standard Media Group. We also work with a national rating system as well. It's all donated, right? And schools compete, right? And we want to expand great places to school to Uganda this year, right? Starting right away. And also the categories are going to be actually put into alignment with the transformative educational framework that we're talking today. And we're going to expand it to TVETs and universities. I'm also going to bring it to the Philippines in 2 weeks, okay? So in other words, sorry about the misspelling here. Great Places to School has the same 3 pillars and same 12 categories, right, that we've been talking about here, okay? And basically, I'll wrap it up here. I want you to get onto our I want you to get onto our website. It's in the back of your resource book, globalpeace.org/TE2050. There you will find the concept note. So you have the workbook here, right? But we also have those concept note. You also have the launch story. You also actually have 3 of these presentations available on demand. So as you're cascading this down, if you're not yet competent, if you're not yet comfortable, let's say, right, to give these presentations, all you have to do is hit play and organize discussions, right? Pause the video. It's me presenting the first 3 presentations, right? Okay, that's available right now, this second. And how to access it is in the back of your workbook. Thank you very much, everyone.
A hand of applause, colleagues. Dr. Tony Vine, thank you very much for this powerful presentation. Are you a robot? 3 days non-stop. Oh my God.
I am the Terminator, Milton. Watch out.
Terminator.
Watch out. Watch out. I will terminate the conventional educational system.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Please, you are the Terminator. Are you seeing how we should teach? Not teaching like this. Hello, Buganda Kingdom. Oh my God. Tell your neighbor we are the terminators of new education model for Africa. Who's the, you see, we are even forgetting our phones. Who's the owner of this phone? I think it was a sweet presentation, you forgot. The Honorable Minister has just arrived. Tell your neighbor the big man is in the house. Honorable Minister, your boss, the Minister for Public Service has just arrived. You know, he was also a teacher for more than 20 years. That's why he's very passionate about this. So it's coming to join you. But before he enters the building, the hall here, I would like us to be organized. We're going to share with him what we have learned, right? So that he knows what to report to the president. We are not joking. Here we are talking about cabinet report of this model. He's going also to brief the First Lady. We have met her, and there are two ministers, if you did not know, Muruli Mukasa, but also the Minister of Education. They work together, the First Lady and Muruli Mukasa. This one, Muruli, was the teacher. But he's also taking a very serious intentional decision to work with schools so that you people can produce, you know, better civil servants. So he's going to really where the source of the problem is. So when they talk about corruption, he wants to deal with it perpendicularly by coming down. Someone will think perpendicularly. So colleagues, I want to say thank you. You are welcome. And I thank you for your patience. 3 days is not easy. To be here, you know, your families, you have, you know, your schools are undergoing examination period, but you said, no, I have to be here. So we don't take you for granted. You paid your, you know, Mr. Dr. Tony, these people paid money. They paid 100,000 shillings in Uganda. That's someone's salary. Please clap for yourselves that really that was very important. You pay, you know, a teacher to pay from the small salary you get. It means high level of ownership. And we're going to report that teachers have started investing in their own future. That is very serious. And this is the first of its kind in the country where an organization, teachers are engaged, and their leaders, the administrators, and they all pay. I think that's the way to go. It's the only country, Uganda, where people are paid food, transport, you give the content, you pay per diem, transport. What type of country is that? Dr. Tony Devine has used more than $7,000 to come here. That's more than 35 million shillings. To come and train us. But then the students are also paid. That's why they don't take the things seriously. When things are free, never go there. Those things, cheap things, those things don't work. So even the word of God, Dr. Matani has said, even that little you think is yours will be taken away from you. It's not even yours. It's you are even thinking. So here is logical. Colleagues, I want to say invest more. Do like this. Invest more. Invest more. Invest more. Please, colleagues, do it. Because what you prophesy is what happens. So we don't take that simple. So we thank you. The third series we are going to discuss with Dr. Tony, and then we shall give you information. And I think you are happy to see the signature of the minister. You saw the signature of the minister himself. And so he's coming. That is serious. Please clap for him again. Clap for him. He signed your invitations. So he takes this model personal. This is what we call patriotic leadership at his level. And he's coming. He has left parliament. Because this is more important than parliament. Amen. So I would like to say, as he comes, colleagues, I don't know, but those of you who are the other side, please, I beg you kindly, come down, because these are all empty chairs, so that probably you can come and sit here. This side is okay. So Connie, my sister, you want to say something? So I don't know. Can you guide on breakfast?
Exactly, sir.
Please, guide.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency, the Ambassador. Shall we pray? We thank you, Father, for the first part. We're going to have our breakfast. Bless it in your holy name. Amen. This time round, we shall not have our seniors go out there, but rather they will come up there first. And we have a maximum of 5 minutes. So kindly, Dr. Matadi, Dr. Tony, Professor, we shall go up there, serve first, then come back. The rest of us will follow after them. Serve everything you want. We shall go to the table. We'll begin with Dr. Tony, Dr. Matadi, Professor Lutalo, Bogema University, Town Clerk, DO, our Town Clerk, Dr. Hirwe. Let's join quickly. Serving team, obwangu bwe kyekisinga obukulu. Obwangu kyekisinga obukulu. Doctor, excuse me, can you serve and... Yes. Obwangu kyekisinga obukulu. Obudde tetulina. I want to thank you all. I want to thank you all. Needless to mention is Yesu Akwagala Secondary School, Nancha Josephine Madam. I'm so sorry, it was not intentional, but thank you so much. From day one, you've been with us. I don't know why I did associate you to Budo. Please, Madam, take my apologies. My friends from Namidyango, thank you very much. I was watching YouTube. Did you watch yourself on YouTube? That's nice. All of you are live on YouTube. All of you. So you better have a smartphone. I want to thank the Global Peace Team. Professor, thank you very much. Mr. Ezra Bukundika, thank you very much. Mr. Kasaija Tadeo, thank you very much. And the entire team for organizing such. Can I have the next row? Excuse me. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. We shall go in rows. Yeah, we shall have a piece of music. Kato and Providence, the people who have been in the ICT online. Thank you very much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Wonderful work. Wonderful, wonderful. Some music. This phone is looking for the owner. I think when we exchanged spaces from one place to the other, this phone, please. Photograph. Don't forget that memorable photograph. We shall have a group photo. Please be there. There are also some photographs that were taken. Don't leave them behind. Whoever took breakfast very quickly. Second. We recognize the presence of the Honorable Minister. Those who haven't gotten food, shall we put our hands together? Shall we put our hands together? Shall we put our hands together?
You have made and I you
Colleague, to have 5 minutes to go.
for the breakfast. Yeah.
5 minutes, 5 minutes. Yeah, actually, you can come with your breakfast. Yes.
You
5 minutes.
have made such a fruit and I and you love for we belong to without you that my soul for some but I never find you have come to my life and made me let me quit to think and every the gates whisper softly in my ear. That I see the ones that you see. Oh yes, wait, one year, huh? And so to sugar. Sugar. Bet you never ski song. I said I'd to get you where the front oh, soft inside. There's something going on. Yeah. You're too sweet to make a chance scream. Because you feel no pain. Beat up that way. We got something going on. Tender love spot. It requires a dedication. Beneath the conversation, you have to get a cup of love enough. A cup of chemistry. Exactly on the in between. You leave me wrong. Say anything to really work and give it up. Sugar, cause you I can't live without you. The last was gone. Everything is nothing if you got it. To deep in the mud, we got door. Cause we love chemistry. It's nothing, nothing in between. Set me free. Cause we love one another. Chemistry. It's nothing, nothing in between. Set me free. Cause we love one another. You young people now think streets and fire spread their wings, settle down, just what they need, living on. She don't care. Now what's the style? She just likes the way he smiles. It takes more than marble time, living on the time. Time. Starting story over even on the thinking I can walk through traffic again. You didn't know. thing. Children gone, still they sing. Side by side on their front porch swing. Living on love. He can't see anymore. She can sweep the floor. Hand in hand, they'll walk through the door. Just living on love. Living on love. By yourself. Would die. Just like the old-fashioned story of the bride. Living on love. Sounds simple. It's what you're thinking. I can walk the fire without blinking. Doesn't take much. You get enough. Living on love. So you know that you start to run. It's what you're thinking. You walk.
Hello.
Just you get
Members, 2 minutes. 2 minutes. Mr. Bossa, we take these cups. Our staff, please be alert. We have only 2 minutes to go. Colleagues, when you get your breakfast, come down so that we proceed. The minister has a few minutes here. He's going back to Parliament, as I earlier told you. But for purposes of briefing the minister, I'm going to invite Dr. Tony Devine, our Chief International Facilitator for this workshop, to come in front and brief the minister of the summaries of the training, the objective, the end goal, and the next plan of action. Colleagues, hurry up for this opportunity so that Dr. Tony Devine, in just 3 minutes, is able to summarize those 3 areas, so that then we invite the minister to be able to give us the cake he has come with. Then he gives us the certificates of participation as we roll down and cascade the content and the model in our schools to transform our educational outcomes using the Okay, it's on. Dr. Tony Devine, you're welcome. Come in just a few minutes, be able to brief the minister. Thank you, Doctor. Please, hand of applause, please, for Dr. Tony Devine. He's going to brief the minister in brief. Thank you, Doctor.
Honorable Muruli Makasa, we're very grateful for your steadfast support, right, of transforming education here in Uganda. And we've been at this since 2010. And this is phase 2 of this series of transforming education workshops. Phase 1 was in October. Phase 2, phase 3 will be in the fall. And the focus is we launched this very important global campaign at the Global Peace Convention in the Manila, the Philippines, in December 2023, called Transforming Education in the Global South Towards 2050. And it's challenging the 300-year-old conventional educational system anchored in the acquisition of knowledge. And it's actually proposing a transformation to a more encompassing system focused on cultivating character. We had an amazing discussion yesterday with all of us here with Dr. Matati that corruption is a huge problem and that the antidote is character. So character should be the primary thing, anchored in conscience and universal principles and values. Next is relationships, building great relationships, informed by the family and extended family, educators having great energy and vitality. And regarding knowledge, It's no longer the acquisition of knowledge, it's the application of knowledge and skills. By the way, knowledge and skills are value neutral. They need to be guided by values along with technology to create a compelling future here in Uganda, right? A future of prosperity and abundance and peace, but driven by transformative uh, educational institutions, a transformative Ministry of Education, transformative regions, and so on. So the participants who are here today represented a cross sector of the educational landscape. We have vice chancellors here of universities. We have educational managers, Interreligious Council of Uganda representatives, civil society organizations, head teachers, managers, superintendents, supervisors, you name it, right? So it might not be a lot of us here, but we have the right group here. And this team here, they're, I would safely say that they are ready to roll. They're ready to actually take ownership, and they've been taking ownership as we've been in the workshops. If you ask any of them, we actually made plans this morning, right, to transform the landscape, their educational institutions. And we're really looking forward now to the next milestone. There's a commitment to bring the first early results by June. That's only 2 months away, less 7 weeks away, but that's actually possible as we build up to
Early
the
result.
Africa
That's
2024
only 2 months away.
Global
That's 7
Leadership
weeks away.
Conference
But
in
that's
Africa.
actually
It'll be in
possible
Nairobi,
as
right?
we
The
build up
theme of
to
that
early
conference
result. Africa
is One Family Under
2024,
God,
2 months away.
um,
That's 7 weeks away. But that's
stimulating
actually
or creating an
Nairobi, right?
African
We build up to
renaissance
that conference
as a
Africa's One
catalyst
Family
for
Under God
peace
and
and
global
sustainable
leadership
development,
conference.
right?
But
And that is
or
driven by very important values that are native to this continent: Ubuntu, African spirituality, the African family and extended family. We've been discussing it in the workshop here, right? Your amazing faith and
Ubuntu,
wisdom
African
traditions
spirituality,
that have common
the
values
African
that uphold the
family and
dignity of
extended
life,
family.
like that.
Discussing it in the workshop
And
here, right?
that will be a momentum
amazing
builder to
faith
drive
and wisdom
more,
traditions
more
that
progress,
have
more
common
momentum
values that
to
uphold
phase
the
3
dignity of
in
life,
the fall.
like
So
that.
the Global Peace
And
Leadership
that will
Conference
be a
and the
momentum
Family
builder
Festival
to
here in
drive
Uganda
more
are
traditions,
not
more
events.
progress,
They're
more momentum
momentum
to
builders to
phase
drive
3
a very
fall, like
compelling
that. The Global Peace
agenda
Leadership Conference
forward.
will be a momentum
And they are not a liability if we invest into them as an asset. Any asset requires a huge investment of energy, time, and the educators who came here to this workshop, they're leaving as owners, ready to invest and to convert or transform or transition this number one asset, the people, right? This is the future, and take care of them so that they can actually create a Uganda of prosperity, of peace, right? A leading nation with your number one asset here on the continent. It may look like impossible. It's impossible. But we actually quoted a fellow African, Eliud Kipchoge, who was the first human in history who ran a marathon in under 2 hours. And his motto is that no human is limited. So this team here in the audience, they believe this. We're not limited. We're not going to be stopped. We're going to roll. And Honorable, we really deeply appreciate your support. We can't do this without the support of your ministry, the Ministry of Education. We need everybody on board to actually drive this transformation. I want to thank you so much for being here with us today to close our workshop. But you're not closing your work. You're not closing the workshop. You are starting. You're going to build the first round of momentum. That is your mission here today. You're going to be a momentum builder today to launch these great owners to the Global Peace Leadership Conference, that we must bring early results to demonstrate to the entire continent that anything is possible, even in 7 weeks. Okay? Thank you very much.
Hand of applause, Dr. Tony Devine. You have just summarized it well. And he said he's the terminator of the colonial education, Dr. Tony. The conventional education. Honorable Minister is with us. He's the current Minister of Public Service. The former Minister of Gender, Labor and Social Development. You remember? The former Minister of National Security. You remember? He has been consistent with one thing: character. Tell your neighbor, character. You have never seen Honorable Muruli Mukasa in a scandal. Please clap for him, because it is not easy. It's not easy. These days, they even manufacture scandals. He escapes them because the way he's clean, even those scandals cannot smell his shoes. Why? Because he has demonstrated it for years. He has practiced it for years and years, the last 40+ years. Now, the question is, are you ready to become a teacher of character, a leader of character? If yes, Dr. Tony Devine has told us that that has been ignored. And that's why we are suffering from corruption and mismanagement of institutions, to produce thieves, to produce liars, lazy people. So education systems have become problems to the country. So colleagues, I want to give you confidence that, Honorable Minister, we are starting a journey, sir. A journey that is turning our hearts, continuing a journey of turning hearts to become transformative agents of change, so that we are able to build great schools. Great schools build great nations. But that needs the 4 dimensions we have learned. How many? How many are they? The first one, the second one, the third one, the fourth one. Clap for yourself. You remember them. The foundation of character. Then when we talked about holistic, he needs to know that we are good students. Because he's coming to speak. He has to know that you got the thing. Dr. Tony Devine also took us through holistic what? Holistic transformation of education. What else? Moral and innovative leadership. Do you remember that? There were 3 days, full packed. And Dr. Tony Devine, we thank you, sir, because you have not left us alone. You have simply rolled us further, and we are going back to transform our schools and our districts and our communities and the Ministry of Education and civil service agencies. So I want to take this singular honor, because of time. We will not wait for our colleagues who are outside, basically to request Honorable Minister to come and share with us. First, before I want to hand over the booklet, because this booklet is a weapon, right? For our education what? Transformation. Where he's seated, I have no power to reach there, but I will ask his fellow elder, Dr. Matadi. You remember how he shared his story here? Dr. Matadi, please hand over this book to your brother, Honorable Minister, so that he has the tools. Yes. Thank you, Honorable Minister. So, Honorable Minister, please come and share with us, so that we also further learn from you, from your experience. Education, the foundation for peace and development. How do we do it? For us, the training has been so sweet. Will it work or it will not work? What is your experience? Honorable Minister, thank you. God bless you, sir.
Thank you very much indeed. Good morning to you all. I must say I'm very happy to be here and to have been invited by the chapter president of the Global Peace Foundation, and of course, the partners, Dr. Tony Divine, and the others. All of you, distinguished people, and dear participants, and agents of transformation, and the rest of the protocol, the media, ladies and gentlemen, let me thank you for inviting me here this morning. I came knowing that I was going to close this training, the 3-day training, but turns out I'm not closing, I'm just flagging you off. Okay? I recognize that, yes, we have just had a rest here for the last 3 days, and we have recovered our energy. So we are now going to start again on the journey of transformation. I would like to bring warm greetings to you from the President of the Republic, His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. He wishes you well. And also greetings from Mama Janet, who is the Minister of Education. She wishes you well. And of course, from my own fraternity of the public service. And they told me to say good morning. Let me really congratulate you upon completing this 3-day training that has been successfully organized by the Global Peace Foundation and of course facilitated by the partners and eminent people. Congratulations indeed for coming to this point of rest. I'm sure from the short summary that I've had, it has been very, very enriching and fulfilling. And I'm quite sure you'll not leave this place the way you came. Thanks to all the facilitators and the participants, of course. And I also really wish roundly to thank you for having spared your time to come and participate for 3 days in this place. And I'm sure that the objectives of the training have been roundly fulfilled. The transformation of Uganda is founded on the peace that was ushered in by the NRM and under our beloved President, General Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. And indeed, this peace, I think now, has been realized as a very valuable element. And I don't think any Ugandan now and in the future is ready to compromise with the peace or take it as a matter of course and therefore overturn that peace and transform it into chaos and violence, which we experienced actually for a long time. We can say from 1900 up to talk of how many years? About 10 years ago, 15 years ago. That's when we actually now had some peace throughout the country. But from 1900 up to about 2010 or so, when we now look at the other insurgencies as history. It's when we have really enjoyed this peace. And because of that, we are not ready to compromise with the peace, not even our children, not even our grandchildren. And I think we have said goodbye to chaos. It is therefore, when looking at this, when we are talking of a purposeful future through transformative education, it is therefore incumbent upon us that we should look at the following carefully and seriously. Our national value system, and you know, the Ministry of the Department of Ethics and Integrity has now for us worked out a national value system, which is really universal for all the Ugandan communities. So that value system, a system which brings you out as somebody. You say, I am Milton. Okay? There are many Miltons in the world. I said, I am Milton. That you have certain characteristics and you cherish certain values to the extent that you can say, I can do this. This I can't. I am Milton, son of David, a grandson of Ezra. I can't do that. And people attest to it. I say, oh, you are talking about this? No, the Milton we know cannot do that. So that is embedded in our value system, which we have put in place. Then the other one is, of course, nationalism or patriotism, our love for our country and our countrymen and countrywomen. You just don't love the soil, but you love the soil, you love everything on it, but most importantly, you love the people, and you are ready to sacrifice even the most cherished things that you have for the sake of the people. And then, of course, the culture of Ubuntu. Ubuntu, we say Ubuntu, Ubuntu. Yes, what makes us really human beings and humane beings? What makes us people, as opposed to animals, okay, or birds, you see? And then, of course, our Pan-Africanism, the love for Africa. Yes. And the Africa as it is today. Don't just look at Black Africa or Sub-Saharan but the whole of Africa. Because at one time in history, the whole of Africa was actually black. Yes. But changes occur. Somehow it became white in the north. And then there are a number of hues of colors as we go south. And then as we went to the tip of South Africa, it becomes a rainbow Africa. With those colors, white and other colors in between, black, and so on. But that's Africa. That's it. The sun, the air, the soil, everything, that's Africa. So our purposeful future, shaped by education that aims to transform us, really has those characteristics. Should focus on them to make us a group of people who are going to be resilient, who will have these values that we have of Ubuntu and are ready to do everything, to do all that it takes to ensure that we are in charge of our development. Now, in all this, of course, education is very important. It's very critical. And whatever we do in the education, we must align it to our needs, not only the present needs, the current needs, but those needs which are likely to be there in future. And then we must also ensure that whatever we are going to do is going to be sustained. It will be sustained. And we just don't sprout up and grow and we are so good looking, just like a flower, and then we fizzle out and die and never to be remembered. No. Okay, this happens. It's a kind of process, maybe natural ordained, but like the flower, it grows up, then it produces seed. The seed falls the ground, it germinates, and then it goes. So the process is self-regenerating, and it is continuous, forever and ever, according to the Christian faith, world without end. Not so? Although some people predict the end of the world. But I think for us, we say no. You know, one era might go, one generation might go, but there'll be generations, there'll be other eras. And this is self-perpetuating, and it continues, it continues. There is no end. There's no end. By talking about ending the world, then, or ending the system and so on, then we are encouraging a philosophy of self-destruction, you know, and that's not good. Or pessimism of the worst degree, that's not good. And what keeps us going is always to be hopeful of better and better things. So the education must really bring in all these elements so that regardless of the challenges that we face at any one given time, we go by really what human history has gone through. Face the challenges, find solutions, make amends, and continue and regenerate. And that's the way to go. And in the end, we remain as human beings, and we're in charge of everything, and nothing can go wrong. So education, therefore, is one of the greatest resources that we have. And then the other resource is the people. Yes, you and I. Really, even when we talk about the world, really, in our here, we are talking actually about the people. Yes, we can't envisage a world without people. All of us. So that's another critical resource and a critical ingredient. Therefore, it's important that education works on the people, nurtures them, and prepares them to address the challenges of the day and the challenges of tomorrow. And whatever situation, whatever dynamics there might be, we should be ready to face them and get out victorious and moving forward. This has been the story of man. There's no reason why it should end with us or with our generation. It should continue. And of course, harnessing science and what have you. Yes, I think the challenges and solutions to the challenges should be better now and easier with the employment of science and technology. We cannot underestimate the importance of transformative education, particularly in the global south. Yes. in the global south. The other north, many things, many changes have taken place. Probably some of them are now irreversible. But at least, and maybe some of these changes will reach a point where they cannot even be recognized. Yes. When you look at artificial intelligence and the effect it is having, that you have people educated, they have degrees and doctorates and so on, but the fellow cannot read. Cannot read. Oh, it's interesting. Why? Because this fellow has relied on artificial intelligence to answer questions, to write papers for himself, herself, and to do everything. For all purposes, the fellow is educated, but cannot read. Cannot read even a simple English text. Cannot write properly. And sometimes cannot reason properly. You see? And the number of people are praising all that, and we are looking towards going there, forgetting some of the negative aspects, and also killing our faculty of saying, yes, if this facility is available, it has its useful purposes, very good. But then how do we handle the negative side? You've not been trained to think that way. You've been trained just to enjoy and to use whatever is there, you see. And in the end, you find that you are going to some difficult or a dark corner, a dark situation from which you can't retreat. So it's therefore critical to have the whole framework of facilitating the desired nation building in the global south. And therefore, we should also focus on the quality of education. And then the quality of the teachers who are teaching. And then, of course, we are going to have the required quality of learners. You see, it's a whole cycle, it's a chain. You can't treat half of it and then you say you've done. No, it is a complete chain which must be handled for the best results that we need. Now in Uganda, we developed a teacher policy of 2019. And this policy looks at the education landscape, but at least to improve